In fact, video game addiction is the only form, as far as I can recall, the only form of digital addiction that is recognized by the World Health Organization.
Right, it's in the DSM-5.
Yeah.
The thing is about that, all these other forms still have the same symptoms that are listed under hardcore addictions. They have the
Hmm.
same fallout, like job loss, relationship destruction, physical health impacts, emotional and mental health impacts, people being hospitalized. So it's just a weird, I don't know why I mean, I think it just gets there's so many overlaps and so much great, and there's so many kinds of different things. I mean, because there's, like gambling and pornography addictions are probably, I think, officially recognized, at least gambling. And that is, that you can get that online. Shopping
Hmm.
addiction, you can get that online. You can use the technology is enabling more of this, and it's more easily because, if you had a gambling addiction prior to PCs and being, home internet, you'd have to go somewhere. Same for pornography, you'd have to go somewhere. And that extra effort does keep people, a lot of people
Yeah.
who would have had to make the effort, they wouldn't have done it. And then they're kept from that, the dangers of that pitfall of that
No,
addiction.
exactly.
So, yeah.
So I want to get into what people can and should do about this. But before we do, like I said, we haven't spoken about environmental impact on the podcast at all. And that is definitely something that you cover in the Red Shoes. And um, I mean, I I did actually used to own a hybrid. I've gone back to conventional engine. But when I bought that hybrid, I think 15 years ago. So it was a while ago before I knew what I know now. But right, I mean, but it was a Prius, right? It would get 50 miles a gallon. I was like, this is, and I lived in LA at the time, and drive anytime you have to drive, it's a long distance. And I thought but over time, I learned what goes into, for example, making one of these batteries, and I was like, I don't I don't even know if this evens out, like if it nets out at, if it balances out all the gas I'm saving versus the damage of creating these lithium ion devices. What And that doesn't need to be the example that you
No,
speak on,
no.
but that is one that has been in my head a lot.
Well, the EV is a big topic because it's kind of being forced on us in a lot of places, and those of us who are electrosensitive cannot possibly drive an EV or be inside of one. I couldn't even be in a hybrid. But I want to just preface this part by saying that I was like, I still kind of consider myself an environmentalist, but I'm in terms of like I drank the environmental Kool-Aid of like all that, things that are supposedly good for the environment. I totally believe I was fully behind them, wind, solar energy, EVs, like, yes, that's gonna save everything. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that's true at all. And many of those things are way more harmful and destructive than our current destructive tech, practices for energy production. So yeah, but electronic vehicles are there's the batteries, like you said, that's the big issue really is, and they're huge. Besides the EMFs that they put off, which are massive. I mean, I think one thing that people don't think about, because it's this out of sight, out of mind problem, right? And so when you see the charging stations for EVs, it looks greener because you don't smell the gas, you don't see anything
Yeah,
burning.
and they use nice green designs and
It's
stuff.
a